Hey, hot girl, what's up? Hello, everyone. So I teased this out on Instagram that, well, let me backtrack. So on January 6th, 2021, depending on when you are seeing this video, our Capitol was ransacked by white nationalist, terrorist, disgusting, horrible people. Now, immediately when this happened, I went online, or I went on Instagram, and I was talking to my followers about it because I was almost in disbelief, but at the same time, I'm not. Like, how can anybody pretend shocked with what's going on right now? It was inevitable that this was going to happen. So I'm sitting there, for whatever reason, bewildered until I got my sense together. And I'm watching people break windows, steal podiums. A woman that was on their side got shot. Now the death toll is up to 5 people. I've watched all of this and I'm like, how did you not know? How did anyone think that this was not going to happen? Now let's talk about what happened that day. So the guy got on his podium with his tiny hands, and he was explaining with his tiny hands that he wanted people to go to the Capitol. He was going to walk with them to the Capitol, which he didn't do. He was going to walk with them to the Capitol.
We're going to take our country back.
And then kept alluding to force. You can watch the video for yourself. I will not put that on my platform whatsoever. You and I both know what that man is up to. And you and I both know that man is not a good man. So that is what that man said. Now, his constituents and everybody that believes in him started to march to the Capitol. He did not do that. What did he do? He got himself into his president mobile or whatever the hell it is, went straight to the White House and watched the show. He watched the show. I need you to hear me for a minute. He sat his ass down and watched the debauchery happen. Waited to deploy the National Guard. Waited to deploy officers. Waited. This man wanted this. Then got on video after they were ransacking for a little while. They had to get warmed up, you know. They had to bombard police, break shit down. Then he gets on video. He says,
I understand. Our election was taken from us. I love you.
I love you. This man tells his people he loves them while they're breaking up the actual Capitol where they were certifying the Electoral College. Look, let me tell you something. You could call me all the names in the book, but one thing you better say is that's a strong black woman. That's one thing you better say, because this strong black woman looked at all of this footage and thought to myself, ooh, if it was me. If it was me, if it was my cousin, if it was my father, if it was my brother, if it was anybody with BLM, which, by the way, I'm the same girl that made that BLM video calling out the Huns. So if you were okay with that, you shouldn't have a problem with this, okay? Let's start with that. But I'm the same black girl that called all that crap out. So don't think for a minute that I'm going to stay quiet about this. It couldn't have been me. And you and I both know why it couldn't have been me. I would have been DOA, dead on arrival. Drone strikes. Imagine if black people would have done that. Imagine if Muslim people would have stormed the Capitol like that. And for all y'all that say, oh, Muslims are this or that. Girlfriend, there are over 1 billion Muslims. They're all bad people. We'd be dead by now. We'd be outnumbered. So these people stormed the Capitol. They antagonized police. Some police even take selfies with them. So it depends on the cop, right? Because some of them were actually cool with this, which really shows you just how far gone we've gone, okay? So they storm the Capitol. They break into Nancy Pelosi's office. They leave notes in the office. They ransack senators' rooms, both Republican and Democrat. It's almost like they have no regard for the Constitution. You know, these people that claim they're so pro-government and Blue Lives Matter and they're patriots and they're all this, but they break down their own Capitol. They don't give a damn about police. They don't give a damn about law and order. They want destruction. They want destruction because our Hitler now in chief told them it was okay. They want destruction because they found somebody, a top leader, a top dog, to bark orders at them, and next thing you know, they all just scurry. They all scurry because they love that. They wanted to do something wrong. They wanted to bombard those people. They wanted to shit on democracy. And that's exactly what they did, and they need to be held to the fullest extent of the law. Now, let's talk about double standards. Because you're going to say, well, Margaret, it's wrong for anyone to do this. Yeah, it's wrong. It's wrong to riot. It's wrong to break shit. But it seems like it's really wrong for other groups to exercise their upset, right? Because I'm not over here to say that rioting is right or wrong. But we could talk about rioting all day long. Because when it's people like me that get upset about how we've been, I could tell you stories for days. I could tell you stories for days of the stuff that I've gone through just because I'm black. When Black Lives Matter was out there, it was a multiracial crowd fighting for the social justice reform for black people. Fighting for us to have the same rights as white people. You know, I was sitting down and I was watching this double standard happen in my face, and I couldn't help but get angry. I got so upset because it's like, how do people not see this? How do people not see the oppressive nature that is bestowed upon people that are not white? Here's the thing, I'm gonna break it down for you in context with that day. I saw people jumping over the wall that's perimeter around the Capitol to get to the building. That goes to show you that walls don't work. So why do people hate Mexicans so much? Why do you want to build a wall when you clearly see that people could climb over it? When you clearly see that in real time, that wall doesn't even matter. People are going to find a way to get here anyway. You know, when they're getting and they're crying.
What happened to you?
I got maced.
You got maced.
By the police.
And what happened? You were trying to go inside the
Yeah,
Capitol?
I made it like a foot inside and they pushed me out and they maced me.
What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Elizabeth. I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee.
And why did you want to go in?
We're storming the Capitol. It's a revolution.
Thank you.
I know somebody that was tear gassed that was walking peacefully with her daughter, just walking during the George Floyd protests. And one cop just ran up to her, ambushed her, knocked her down in front of her child, and tear gassed her. Thank God the white person that was next to her had milk, so that way he could pour that into her eyes so the stinging would stop. And this was a peaceful walking protest in Portland. But yet people get tear gassed at the Capitol that they broke into unlawfully, and then they're out there crying because they can't believe officers have treated them that way. And why? Because they know their privilege wouldn't usually allow them to be tear gassed. They know that their privilege allows them to walk that ass into that Capitol, which is what a lot of them did. But the good cops, okay, the good cops that tear gassed that ass, they couldn't believe it. We're Blue Lives Matter. We're just ambushing you right now. Shows they have no agenda. It shows they have no agenda, and it shows they recognize the double standard as well. But do you? And do influencers, the people that you follow, the people you watch on YouTube, do they understand that? Do they understand double standards? Do they understand that Black Lives Matter is not a hashtag in itself? It's actually going on every freaking day. Do the people you follow realize that? Have you ever looked to see if the people you follow actually give a damn about people that also don't look like them? Because let me tell you something. I got on this platform because obviously I'm used to being treated a certain way. So when you have people in multi-level marketing, right, they get treated a certain way by their upline, or get lied to, you know, spending all this money for something that was never going to work for them. That's disenfranchising people. That's disenfranchising college students, single moms, women at home that just need help. That's disenfranchising people. So me, with my background, going through a lot of things that I've gone through, of course I'm going to speak up for that, especially because I was also disenfranchised in that group. But where do you think that passion really came from? It came from this. It came from the treatment that's always associated with this. People tell me all the time, Margaret, I love your passion. I love your resilience. I love how you call things out for what it is. Girlfriend, that came from a long line of incidences when I was held down from saying what I needed to say. And a lot of that was racially charged. A lot of it. So you're going to have to excuse me when I see a blatant riot, a blatant mob be disgusting, tear down our own Capitol. And I know that people like me were simply just protesting, just walking around, trying to make a difference, and they get treated worse than people that actually ransack our democracy. You can miss me with that. You can kiss my ass with that, dude. You think for a minute I'm gonna sit down and watch that and not get upset, knowing that my friends got tear gas, knowing that people like me don't even have the right to stand up for equal rights? But tell your favorite YouTubers that though. Talk about unethical practices, but then won't talk about unethical things in real time. I don't understand that. It disappoints me. It saddens me. I'm looking at people differently. And you can say, well, Margaret, their job is to talk about this. They have the right to talk about what they want. Well, let me ask you this, my friend. Who gatekeeps what's unethical? Because if you care about what's unethical, you care about that for everybody, I would assume. You can't talk about what's unethical in one instance and then leave everything else out. Because you're gatekeeping what's unethical. You're choosing not to talk about what's wrong. So you're enabling the problem. And you're showing your audience toxic positivity with that. You're showing your audience, well, I just need to remain positive because there's so much hardship going on. I just need to remain positive because I don't want to talk about negative things. All we do is talk about negative things. Anti-MLM is negative, okay? The only time you're ever laughing really is when you watch my channel and I'm just having fun with something. But other than that, majority of the time, I would say it's negative. Horror stories are not fun to read. These clips that people send you are not easy to go through. And I don't go through people's stories anymore. I don't know. I ain't with that. Okay, you can judge me all you want. I ain't with that part. I don't do that anymore. But don't act like, oh, I don't want to be negative, but then all we do is talk about negative stuff. You see a blatant double standard. You were so BLM in June. And now you're quiet. Now you're quiet. Now you're silent. Why? Were you just jumping the train like everybody else and then took off at the next exit in July when everybody forgot about it? Was that you? Because if that is you, then you have no right to talk about anything that's unethical. You only care because it's what's getting you the views. You only care because that's what's popping right now. Anti-MLM pays well, especially if you're consecutive with it. Which don't talk to me about that, girl, because I've been going through a lot. So many people in my inbox talking about, well, Margaret, I just need an escape. I wish I could escape. There were many times in my life I wanted to escape. I wish I was treated just like you. I wish the comments in this video would be, oh, Margaret, it's not that serious, because you know those are coming. I wish I had a government that recognizes me and recognized my life and said that it equally mattered like everybody else. I wish the whataboutism would stop. Oh, well, you know, they did that. They stole this from these stores. They did this, they did that. And call it what you want, because I'm not going to say the rioting is right. I'm not. But let's not act like these people did not take podiums. What are you going to do with a podium? At least if you steak from a grocery store, you can eat. What are you going to do with a podium, dude? I don't think people understand the gravity of this. There were nooses out there. Do you know what a noose is? I'm not going to get into it. I ask you to look it up for yourself. There are nooses out there. Flags everywhere. Jesus saves. Trump this. I would have a hard time believing that the God I serve would be okay with that. Because the same God they serve is the God I serve, and he created me too. But they think that I'm lesser than. I have a real issue with that. You see the parallels here? It's not about anything except destruction. Whereas people like me, it was never about the destruction. The destruction was so you would hear me. The destruction was so you would change these laws. The destruction was so you couldn't just barge in somebody's house, shoot around Breonna Taylor, kill the woman, and then get away with it. No knock warrants. Again, understand the parallels, understand the differences. That actually, I understand why people were upset. I'm not saying it's right, but I understand why they were angry. I don't understand what's wrong with these people. No, wait, I do. I understand wholeheartedly. And it's actually partially not their fault. Because if you're so dumb and gullible to the point to where you're listening to someone like this, a man like this, stand on that podium and orchestrate harm on our own country, there must be something wrong. There must be some mental ailment there. All the people that were mentally deranged, every single one of them. I have no sympathy, but I understand. It's the weirdest feeling in the entire world. I'm happy there weren't more casualties, but we're still learning as those numbers come. A woman in there that was a supporter of the man, she died. She lost her life. She lost her life on sight. I saw the video, unedited. I saw it for what it is, with the cape around her neck. And it's like, you know what? I can't even really, even though she did not have any business being in there. Let's just call it what it is. I'm not speaking ill of the dead, but there was no meeting that had her on the list. There was no reason for her or any of them to be in there. But this woman went in there thinking she was going to do something in name of that man. That man that said, black people, what do you have to lose? Your schools are trash, your communities are garbage. What do you have to lose? The same man that made fun of a disabled reporter. Remember that? I didn't take lightly to that. Guess what, guys? I have a brother that's disabled. That broke me up when I saw that. The same man that said when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Where was that on January 6th? Oh wait, that's only for a certain caliber of people. These people could have taken the actual votes from the Electoral College and really messed things up. Because then what do? It's in our Constitution to read that. It's in our Constitution to follow these proceedings that way. Imagine if they would have done that. Imagine if they would have actually started harming senators before they were dispatched into their offices. The man called them to do that. He called on them to behave in that manner and then watched idly from the White House and shunned everyone else out. Blocked Mike Pence from even coming back to the White House because Mike Pence actually did what was right. This man has been president for 4 years, and look what he did. Look at the way that his supporters, especially these radicalized weirdos, to form a coup to dismantle democracy in his name. And you know something? I didn't even have to mention his name one time. All I had to do was list out his behaviors. You know exactly who I'm talking about. All I have to do is talk a little. All I have to do is say one thing he's done. And you know exactly who I'm talking about. And if you think for a minute that this person had any right to be president, as mentally deranged as he is, listen to what these people say. If Biden is president, they want civil war. Civil war? I don't see any Biden people doing that. I don't see any Democrats doing that. I don't see any independents doing that. And for anyone that says, oh, Margaret, you hate Republicans, I have a story for you. I grew up Republican. Shocking. A lot of people are not going to believe that. I grew up 100% the Republican Party. I was very pro-life. I was the vice president of my pro-life club my senior year. I wasn't even on board with Black Lives Matter when it started. I told you all many a times in my previous videos, I grew up pretty conservative. My mom, although she's not here to really speak for herself, she leaned more independent. I think she was a registered Democrat, but she leaned more independent. My dad is a Democrat, but he leans heavily Republican a lot. And then there's me. I see things on both sides, but Trump is not a Republican. He's a dictator. He makes the Republican Party look like shit. He makes the Republican Party look like it has dirt all over it. The grand old party ain't with Trump in office. And 12 days left. And I don't know how much anybody could take of this. In my opinion, they should impeach him. He should be removed. Because I don't think Pence is going to do the 25th Amendment. If he did, I'd be very shocked. Because then it would really show that democracy comes first. Because for the last 4 years, it's been party over people. And that's bullshit. $600 after 9 months with the whole coronavirus going on, something that this man knew about and chose to react much later because he just didn't feel like it. He's not my king. He's a demigod that wants everyone to kiss the ring, but he can kiss my ass. I'll never understand how people don't understand, but then again, I've been in this skin my whole life. I don't expect people to understand me at this point, but I know one thing's for sure. If I'm going to talk about things that are not right, everybody can get it. It's not going to be, oh, well, it's just this topic, oh, this, or I have to stick to this brand, or I'm scared people going to unfollow, or this or that. I know every time I talk about this stuff, someone's going to unfollow me. I know every time I talk about this, somebody's going to unsubscribe. And I just want to tell you that if you are that person, you're not going to like this channel anymore. Because I would hope that you knew, when you saw my face, you knew I was a black woman. I would hope you knew that this black woman is outspoken because you've seen it in my other videos. What makes this any different? I have the right to speak about what I choose. This is my channel. It's called Margaret Angel, not Margaret Angel Anti-MLM, not Margaret Angel True Crime, not Margaret Angel Mukbang. Margaret Angel. And Margaret Angel is fed up. So I ask that we all stop acting shocked, gain the education to know the difference, and don't let this happen again. Because we all know now, history has a way of repeating itself. I'll see you next time.